What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the best La Liga players in every single position. Obviously starting off with a goalkeeper, straight into it, the only team of the year that I managed to pack, and we haven't lost our unbeaten streak in 4 to 5 years of getting the team of the year goalkeeper. Courtois is very, very good in general. I feel like a lot of people will always choose Courtois as the La Liga team, and to be honest, at the start of the game, the gold card was definitely at the top of the top in terms of the first pick that you go for. Mainly from last year, we saw Courtois just be in every single team to start with. He was the go-to goalie. I feel like this year is very similar. Goalies don't really have too much of a impact in my eyes. Personally, we used Courtois for a few games and honestly was good, but I felt like Van der Sar held more chemistry value, and I feel like that is how people choose their goalkeepers. But in terms of La Liga, I would definitely go for the team of the year, or at the very minimum, looking at the gold card as the cheaper option. Every option in this position as well, we will go for the best of the best and also a nice alternative. And that takes us into the right back, which is a new in-form, changed position from centre-back Koyunde into a right back in form. He necessarily isn't looking incredible in compared to the whole database of right backs, but most definitely comes in very nice. He's coming in at about 70,000 coins at the moment, so realistically he is the cheap and expensive one, as he is technically the best one out of a bunch at the moment. I feel like we are missing that top end right back from La Liga. You have a Jesus Navas, you have a Carvajal, but nobody really that will step in and make that position just unquestionable. So we have got him though. He's coming in relatively nice, some good defending stats. He can be changed, well no, in fact he can't be changed back into a centre back, which is very strange, seeing as though his alternative position would have been a centre-back, but we've got good composure, reactions are quite nice, and he's relatively cheap for the position. And then we look at our centre-back spot. So first one is obviously going to be Militao. The team of the year looks absolutely crackers. 2-star, 3-star, 6-1 with a medium. We've got early cross it if you really wanted to put him at right back instead, which technically he would be the best right back, but I think most definitely he will come in as the best centre back instead. The pace is absurd. Defending physicals are very nice. He is just an overall very, very good card. And obviously you can imagine who else we've got from the team of the year in this squad. He is coming in, and I was just hoping to get there before we move on. He is coming in at a whopping 1.6 mil still, so a very, very high-end price, and most definitely might not be everybody's cup of tea to spend that much on a centre-back, whereas you can get some for the same sort of output. Team of the year is always going to be something special until team of the season, but you definitely can get someone a hell of a lot cheaper. Personally, I feel like Rudiger is the next one. He is, for me, the better centre-back, but definitely whenever I've put Rudiger in a top centre-back tier list or in general rated Rudiger highly, there has been a lot of people that said that they just don't like Rudiger, or at least he doesn't perform as well in game. And I think that might be down to the agility balance. Obviously, if we look at a few of the other centre-backs, they do have better, but I think Rudiger for me has always been fantastic on that recovery tackling. Normally his pace, especially with a shadow or anchor, whatever you want to go with, normally boosts him up so much that he's very good at making them last-ditch challenges. And that's personally what I base him on. I normally have a solid Virgil at one side, and then I'd have somebody who can recover even better on the other. And Rudiger normally does that for me. He has got the chance to be upgraded still. He is an 89 one to watch in this version, and obviously the others are not. So for me, he's coming in as the best centre-back, but like I say, we do have a few more that we will discuss at the end. And left-back, again, there's a couple. There is definitely a couple, but my personal favourite is going to be Capdevila. He is outstanding. If you've ever used him, he is a brilliant left back. Ferland Mendy has always got the shout. The gold version as an efficient, cheap player will always be miles above every single left back in this game. There is no way you can get a left back better for about 4,000 coins. It is impossible. And he's done that for the past 3-4 years now already. But Capdevila, he takes me back, way back to like FIFA 10, FIFA 11 era, but he is absolutely outstanding. We've obviously got the 4-star, 3-star on him. He is left-footed at 6 foot. I don't think he's got, yeah, he's just left wing back on his alternative. Pace-wise, phenomenal. Great passing on him. Dribbling's not bad. Good defending, good physicals, and can be whacked up with that anchor. I think for me, he is absolutely outstanding. And if he does get another upgrade, he just furthers himself forward in that La Liga team for me. Are you tired of using players like this? I would much rather have teams more like this. then I recommend going over to skycoach.gg for all of your coaching and coins needs. They are cheap, fast and reliable, but at the checkout make sure you are using code JT11 for a discount on your orders. Back to the video. Then we go on to that right mid situation, which is going to be informed Dembele. He does have a winter wildcard version, but that is only a striker. There is no alternative to put him as a right mid. And to be honest, in terms of right wings, I feel like since Messi left, there's not really been anybody to kind of take that spot yet. Dembele, the 5-star, rapid as you like. You can go with the gold version still. I have seen him creeping in people's teams, and that normally is just purely for the fact his agility, his dribbling is outstanding. He's got obviously injury prone and flair as the traits. He is just a right mid or right wing, and to be honest, I think this version is now coming in relatively cheap because, like I say, he does have a better version in himself. The right mid is coming in at 133,000 coins. I feel like that could be seen as the most expensive and the cheapest. And the player that we are waiting for to really blow smoke out of everything is going to be Rodrigo. We've seen Vinny on the other side. Can we see a 90 plus Rodrigo in FUT Birthday, in any of the promos that are coming in soon? But Dembele for me is always going to come in better. He's not necessarily the forward sort of player. I feel like shooting definitely could do with some work. But in terms of down the wing, dribbling, passing across, he is going to be fantastic at that. And the 5-star only adds to it. If we go into the first team of the year from the centre mid, again, Modric is fantastic. I feel like the balance of the centre mids I've got at the moment are necessarily not defensive focused, but you can't leave a team of the year out of here. Genuinely, Modric is probably the worst out of the three in terms of who I personally would want. He's coming in at 1.2. KDB is at 3.2 and Bellingham at 2.2. So in terms of the price, he is technically the least amount of value. And I think that's because his sort of role isn't necessarily massively high on the defensive or on the attacking. He's not necessarily a massive defender, but then he can kind of score if you go for that sort of aspect. But in terms of that box to box, he is brilliant with that passing. He's got outside of the foot shot as the only trait for him. And I think in terms of the best, he's always going to be there. We always see a team of the year in the midfield from La Liga. Was surprised we didn't see a Cruz or a Casemiro for his Real Madrid days, even though that technically would fall under the Premier League now. He obviously did have a wonderful year at obviously Real Madrid winning the Champions League. But Modric still coming in as good as ever. And he's going to have a partner in winter wildcard Cruz. Like I say, we do have alternative players in the centre mid as well, because I do know that Cruz has technically finished from his SBC, but what an SBC this was. A beautiful pace increase, a 5-star. As you can imagine, he's done a lot of games for me in that centre mid role and has done very, very well. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken him out for Zidane and Xabi Alonso. So he's definitely took a while to get out of that position. He hasn't got any traits, unfortunately, but I think the pace increase from Cruz is what everybody is always waiting for. Now he's kind of getting into his later career. You can always see the older players just dwindling away with their pace, and you need that. You need that rule breaker, you need that winter wildcard with obviously the Adidas promo and all of them attached. You need something to get him a plus 15, plus 25 pace just to make him somewhat relevant. His passing element is very much like Modric. He is very much that sort of player. He's not necessarily a defensive or attacking. He is that box to box. So realistically, unless you have got incredible centre backs or obviously a very good CDM as a free midfield, I would not put Cruz and Modric both in that same midfield. And then probably one of my favourite players on the La Liga team is going to be Vinny. 91 Vinny is incredible, and I cannot wait to see a team of the season Vinny if he does manage, because this guy, he's just so good at dribbling. He is absolutely rapid down the wing. He's got very good finishing. Like I say, he's just one of them players that will definitely be that Neymar La Liga sort of player. He's got the skills, and hopefully we can see a Rodrigo step up to the mark for Barca as well, because having Vinny and Rodrigo in the middle, it would make that striker so much easier to get involved and really, really push the pressure on. But Vinny is definitely exceeding expectations this year. 91 already with his obvious Team of the Year honourable. He does have a path to glory that's 90 as well, so hopefully that does mean we can see him get a Team of the Season later on in the year at a 97, 98 Vinny, which would be absolutely brilliant. Coming in at a high price, but most definitely the best left mid you can personally get. And then we move on to two of the strikers. Diego Forlan is the first one, and like I say, I've got about 3 or 4 extra strikers coming in at the end, because most definitely there is not necessarily a standout striker bar from the left-hand side of the striker. Diego Forlan has always come in and absolutely wrecked teams for me. A 4-star, brand new into the game. Pace, shooting, dribbling, all coming in very nice, especially being 5'11", has alternative positions of a centre forward and a left wing, and he doesn't have no traits, which is a bit unfortunate. But in terms of a striker, he's very good at what he does. Scores a lot, gets on the balls on the end of the through ball, and in general just is a very good striker. And that leads us to the top dog of Team of the Year, Benzema. The 97 Ballon d'Or winner, still very, very salty he didn't get a 99. I feel like that is just not on for the best player who was voted in the world at last year. How is he not the highest rated? I don't know. I personally think that he definitely should have been at least 98, the same as Messi, but it is what it is. They've already done it now. Hopefully we will see a Team of the Season Benzema, which is 99. But in general, he is fantastic. He's not necessarily your go-to striker compared to an Mbappe, compared to, well, I'd say he's very similar to Haaland, to be honest, in terms of the bigger striker, got the pace, got the strength. He is that sort of striker. He's not your nimble striker, like how a Messi was, like how an Mbappe is. They are very much quick-paced, get past everyone. Benzema's going to need a little bit more care than that. Even though he does have the pace and the strength to hold off strikers, he's not necessarily going to dribble round 10 and bang you in an overhead kick. He is definitely more of a passing sort of player. Get the through balls when they're right and make sure that you are getting through on goal rather than just trying to take them on yourself. But he most definitely is coming in very, very nice in this game, and is coming in at a whopping 3 million coins still, which is pretty good, to be honest. You can obviously, or could get a loan if you did the glorious 15, I think it was, from the Team of the Year 2022. So that is a good way to get him, to give him a try. Does have leadership, finesse, outside of the foot, and team player, so a very good wide array of stats and obviously traits. And let's jump in to some of the cheaper options. So as we said with the goalkeeper, Courtois Gold is going to be the favourite there. In terms of other centre-backs, we've got Arejo and PK as the other two, who are a little bit cheaper and most definitely have got the stats to pay the bills with it. If you're not willing to pay 1.6 mil for Militao, and even Rudiger, to be honest, if he's not your cup of tea, these two will do absolutely solid. PK, right at the start of the game with his rule breaker, a nice pace increase, as well as having that defending physical, comes in very nicely. And then we have Arejo, who has just took the game by storm. His gold card was definitely one to go for at the starter teams, especially in terms of very, very day one. He was just brilliant. Now we've got an 86. Hopefully we do see more of him going forward, because he definitely will come in as the better centre-back in, obviously, La Liga. If we see a 90 before we see Rudiger, he definitely will take that spot, as in-game, he's just phenomenal with it. Then we have Ferland Mendy. We just could not miss this guy out. Obviously, Capdevia, for me, is taking the spot, but I do think that you will have a lot of people flexing between 87 Mendy and Capdevia, which I think is the option that you could go with. Both of them are outstanding, but Mendy's gold is going to be the most efficient one you can get, period. He is 4-star, 5-star, in-game. I don't know how he does it, but he's just incredible. He works really well down the wing. His defending's really good, especially if you are going for more a defensive sort of style from him. But in general, he will always come in as the most efficient defender you can physically get in this game. If we're looking at centre mids, like I say, we have gone for very heavy on that box-to-box element. De Jong, even though very similar as well, he is very passing-orientated with dribbling. If you were going for a shadow, you will get a lot more defending, which can work really well for his positioning, which I think he is doing for Barca already. And then we have Camavinga. I feel like in terms of CDMs, you have got the Kesses, you have the Tchouaménis, who are more orientated for the CDM, but there's definitely not that standout one that I'm thinking, okay, he's going to be better than everybody else. Kessie would probably be my vote, but he's only an 86 at this point, and I feel like his stockiness will not come across compared to maybe having somebody like a Camavinga, De Jong, or obviously Kroos Modric. But both of them coming in at very good options, and as we see the strikers, we already saw Griezmann, again, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal striker, and I think with these strikers, all of them could outtake Forlan. You've got Griezmann, you've got Correa, who was an SBC, and you have Morientes, who I don't know how he does it. We say this every time we come up against this card. He just manages to do stuff that I don't even think is possible for that level of stats. He's very, very similar to a lot of these top-end, taller strikers with good pace but not quite 90s, incredible shooting, balance and agility is a little bit lower, and yet he still manages to do it. I don't personally know how he does it, but he is phenomenal. And like I say, all of them could be swapped out for Forlan. I feel like Griezmann is definitely coming through the ranks in terms of everybody's teams, because that path to glory is a 5-star menace. He genuinely has the stats to pay the bills, and probably, I would say he probably is better than Forlan, but I personally think Forlan, from what I've seen game in, game out, whenever I've played against him or used him, Forlan has had the most impact against me. But again, this is all opinion based, so let me know your strikers, and let me know if there's anybody else that you think should be in this. But apart from that, make sure you do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Check out the video on screen now.